Hello everybody and welcome. Today we're going to be talking about the Microsoft Graph Toolkit, and with us today is Nicola, who's going to tell us all about it. So, Nicola, what is the Microsoft Graph Toolkit?
The Microsoft Graph Toolkit is an open source framework agnostic web components library that allows you to use the Microsoft Graph on all your web application. All the components are completely powered by the Microsoft Graph.
And so what kind of components are we talking about here?
So we're talking about things like a login component, which allows you to display the current logged in user, allows you to log in, log out. A task component that shows your planner tasks or your Microsoft To Do tasks. We have a calendar/agenda component. We're also working on other components, and we keep adding more and more components.
And so we say components, but like what platform are these components built on?
A great question. So because they're built on top of web standards, the web component standards, they work with all the web frameworks out there. So if you're using React or Angular or Vue or no framework at all, if you just go in vanilla, this just works. It works in all the major browsers out there right now.
That's really cool.
Yes.
Now you said powered by the Microsoft Graph. What exactly do you mean by that?
Great question. So because we are working with the Microsoft Graph, we are able to write all the code needed to talk to all the different endpoints. So the task component already knows how to talk to Microsoft Planner or Microsoft To Do and display all your tasks. Or the calendar control already knows how to talk to calendar. So you don't really have to write any code to grab data from the graph. It automatically just happens automatically.
That sounds magical. Can you show us in action?
Oh, I would love to, yes. So here it is. I'm in Visual Studio Code right now. So there's two ways to use this in your web applications, either through just a script tag, or you can use it through our NPM package. The easiest way to do it is just to use it through a script tag, and I've already added this here. I don't have anything else in my project. You can see here it's just index.html, and I'm hosting this on just a regular web server. And then I'm just going to add, for example, an MGT login component. And then if we open up this in the browser, and go in private window, localhost, and then let me zoom in. So you can see here it's just a button, but I'm clicking it doesn't really do anything yet.
Okay, not so magical yet.
No. I mean, it's kind of magical. It's just one line, but it doesn't know how to sign you in. So we need to tell it how to do that. So we have this notion of providers. So if you already have code that you're using to sign in, like an MCell library, for example, you can just tell us what that is, and we can use that. Or you can just let us create one for you. The quickest way is to use another component called MCell Provider, and then just tell us the client ID that you've already registered in the Azure portal. So I'm just going to use the one that I already have here. And here it is. And now this will create an user agent application behind the scenes, and all the components will be using this provider to talk to the graph. And now if I go back here, I can click sign in. It will already knows that I need to do a redirect, and I can sign in to my tenant, and I should be able to get all the data I need. So there it is.
That's a little bit more magical.
That is very magical. It gets all the data from the graph, my name, my picture, and everything. And it gets even more cooler when you start adding some other components on here. So for example, we're working on a tasks component right now. And if I just add that one, it will load all the tasks that are in Planner right now by default. So you can list all my planners that I have on this tenant, and I can complete the task here. Obviously, I've already prepared for a demo, so it's already completed. I haven't practiced it yet, so I'll probably just delete this later. But yeah, that's it. Just with a few lines of code, you get a full working code. Now, I showed you the MCell provider. We have providers also for SharePoint and Teams. So if you're using these in a Teams tab or a SharePoint web part, you still can do that. So for example, I have this new project I created. I just did a new React-based web part. So it's using React. It's supposed to work on SharePoint out of the box. I've already added the component here. So for example, into this React component, I've added this agenda component that we're working on. Just displays a list of my events on the calendar.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. And then to tell it how to actually talk to the graph, I had to use a Sharepoint provider. So I just initialize a new Sharepoint provider with the context of this web part. And then behind the scenes, we do all the magic to connect all the components used with this web part with this context. So now if I open up this into my workbench, it should automatically load. I'm already hosting it through Gulp. And if I just open this up here, MGT demo, it will load up my web part, and in a second you'll see the agenda popping up and filling up. That's it.
That's very cool indeed. So if folks want to learn more about this, where do they go to find out more?
So right now we're in preview and we're open source. So we'll be working with this completely in the open with the community. To get started right now, to download and to start using it, just go to aka.ms/mgt and it'll take you to our GitHub page.
Well, thank you very much for joining us today,
Thank you
Nicola,
much.
and I hope you enjoy all the things that you can do with this Microsoft Graph Toolkit.